to the Deepdale podcast, February 2020. Can't believe we're already more than a month through this year. It's just absolutely crazy. It is a stunning day here on the North Norfolk coast. Absolutely glorious. There is not a cloud in the sky. There is that beautiful winter blue sky out there, and it is just stunning. Fresh. I think we could definitely describe it as fresh, but really, really beautiful. And this is what we love about this time of year. It is just fantastic. And we are sort of in the courtyard in Georgie and Chris's little bolt hole in the White Office, and we can sort of see the newly refurbished bedrooms, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And we're going to just chat about what's going on in this month. How are you doing, Georgie?
I'm doing good. Like you said, I'm really enjoying the weather today. It's gorgeous, isn't it? And I'm in my little bolt hole, so I can see we're starting to get busy now. I feel for the staff. They're constantly taking people up to the campsite because the campsite's getting busier. The weather's beautiful. It's just like the birds are being quite naughty today, though. They're being really loud. Have you noticed that? The sparrows are going absolutely mad. But yeah, it's lovely.
That's cool. Excellent. So what have we got on the list? So we've got Katie Spencer Sunday Session coming up this month, our music event this month, which is going to be fabulous. It's going to be so nice to have Katie back here playing for us. That'd be awesome. She played at the festival last year and did have an interview on the special podcast that we did after the festival. Hopefully we'll play you a track in a little while and have a wee word with her. And then we've got this fantastic 3 for 2 special offer that's happening through until the 1st of April, which is basically if you stay for 3 nights, you get it for the price of 2 midweek, most of the way through that period. We've got runs coming up. We've got East Runton Beach Clean, and of course our pizza nights carry on. It's not like this place is quiet in February. It's there's still quite a few people around. It's calmer, much calmer. What sticks out in the diary for you?
So I have spoken about beach cleans before. I like to get involved with, especially with everything that's going on in with the planet. I like to do my little bit. So there is a beach clean going on at East Runton Beach, which is a beautiful beach anyway. East Runton and West Runton Beach are beautiful. And that's on Sunday the 16th of February. So you could, if you wanted to, do the beach clean in the day, come by in the evening, stay with us, enjoy the music from Katie Spencer in the evening. But I really like to talk about the beach cleans because they're a lot of fun and they're a really lovely way of being out in the environment, feeling good about the fact that you're making a bit of a difference and you're, meeting like-minded people as well. So yeah, definitely East Runton Beach Clean, 16th of February.
And there's good fish and chips there as well.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed that, actually. That's very unlike me to forget the food. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, so great fish and chips. And at the top of the slope, head down the slope and meet the guys down there, East Runton, and it's well worth going to. You'll find details of all of these events on our website, so just pop in and see them. And, as we mentioned, the pizza nights with the wood-fired food guys that continues through this month. In theory, our favourite busker, Zeph, will be playing at each of the Friday night pizza nights. We hope to see him there. And we've got a lot of people coming to stay with us to do the local park runs. Both the Holcombe and the Hunstanton Promenade park runs carry on all the way through this month, as they do all the way through the year. So really worth doing those. And they combined really well. We had a lovely couple who came to the conservation weekend, and they ran off, headed off to Holcombe to do their run, and then came back and worked themselves to the bone over the next 2 days and learnt a huge amount about planting trees and just generally about how to look after wildlife on this beautiful farm. So that was a fantastic, really nice combination. So don't forget, you can combine all of these events, make up a really good day, and doing a beach clean during the day, and then heading back here to see the Sunday session on with Katie Spencer on the 16th of February is just a fabulous way to spend a Sunday. A really, really lovely way. Yeah, we've got a couple of interviews coming up from the conservation guys. I wandered around the fields while they were putting in the hedges, and we've got some lovely conservation guys to hear from. Hopefully we'll be playing a track from Katie Spencer. And anything else that you're that leaps out in the diary for you in this month, or should we think about the months ahead?
Well, I don't want to preach. I've just spoken about the beach clean. There are lots and lots of things going on throughout. I think the main thing for this time of year, February, March, is come to the North Norfolk coast, because you get some beautiful, beautiful weather. You don't have to fight for a spot. You don't have to be weaving around people on the coastal path, and you can always get a seat, most of the time, I should say, at your favourite restaurants and cafes. So come at this time of year. Definitely come.
So we are standing up at the top of North Glebe, next to a hedge line, which is looking slightly sorry for itself, isn't it, Nathan?
It's looking a bit sad. It's quite gappy, and it's got big knuckles on the tops of the hedge plants. So it's in need of a bit of TLC, which is what we're giving it at the moment.
So just to explain, this is the conservation weekend at Deepdale Farm. I am standing here chatting with Nathan, who is our new estate manager. He's been coming on site for a few years to manage the conservation weekends, and he's done some survey work for us, looking at the woods that we've got and trying to work out what we've got and what best to do with them. And he's now full time with us on the farm in his new role, and helping us basically return some of Deepdale a bit more to the wild, and really green up what we're doing. So we've got a whole bunch of volunteers all along here. You can probably hear shovels and spades and forks and everything else being sorted out, and they're basically planting in a whole series of hawthorn and blackthorn whips to try and repair this hedge and put it back to something. And what are the guidelines that we're following?
So we're following guidelines on hedgerow restoration and planting from Norfolk Biodiversity Partnership. And so what we've been doing, for example, on the campsite, is we've been sticking in lots of different interesting species for a nice mix of flowers and foliage and fruits for wildlife. But the guidance on the hedgerows here, this hedgerow that we're standing next to was put in when the land around here was enclosed. So there was a Parliamentary Enclosure Act on which led to these hedges being planted in the 1820s. And the guidance basically is that, well, you can see what's down the hedgerow here is it's just hawthorn. So we're putting in more hawthorn, but we can also put in a bit of blackthorn, and we want the occasional, maybe after a while, we want the occasional hedgerow tree, so we're putting the occasional oak tree in as well.
Fantastic. So the idea is, in due course, is that we will restore all the hedges around Deepdale Farm. We are now talking to various conservation organisations and working out what else we do, like putting in field margins to really kind of make the wildlife corridors so much bigger. But it's all work in progress, and we've got the most wonderful bunch of volunteers who come so twice a year to help us do this work. And I cook for them. Nathan works them, and they still seem to be smiling normally by the end of Sunday, aren't they?
They are, and you know what? I worked out the other day. This is the 8th conservation weekend that we've been running together. We started doing these together in November 2016, and we did a load of hedge planting in February 2017, and a lot of the same people keep coming back. And the great thing is that these guys really know what they're doing, and we have a really good laugh together. And we still have plenty of new volunteers that come along, but it's a really nice mix of people, and the guys are really really competent now, really good hedge planters and tree cutters, and all up for various different jobs that we give them, and there's nothing that we've asked them to do so far that they've not gone for.
No, I was talking to one or two of them earlier, and this is a distinctly better weather. You can hear the wind in the background, so apologies if it's really affecting the interview. But we felt that it was better to be talking next to the hedge that we're working on than in a sort of nice warm office somewhere. But the guys have planted hedges and worked in woods through hail, snow, quite heavy rain at moments. But we keep feeding them lots of breakfast and lots of evening meal and lots of hot drinks, and they seem to keep smiling most of the way through it, so it's great. So welcome to Deepdale, Nathan. Formally a formal on the podcast welcome to Deepdale, and and thank you for organising these guys yet again. It's just the work that gets done. They've been only out here for a couple of hours, and there's already so many tree guards in with whips all along these woods and these hedges, and in a few years' time it will be unrecognisable. It'll just be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And they keep doing this to me. We make a plan for the weekend, and we get a lot of plants in, and we have an idea of what we're going to do for the whole weekend, and they've done it all by Saturday lunchtime, and it's really annoying. So now I've got to think of other stuff for them to do.
Well, we've still got a couple more pheasant pens to take out, and there's a load of tree planting that we're hoping to do down in the tractor yard, which is going to make a dramatic difference down there, which will be wonderful. Just to explain this, sort of in February, when we can get hold of bare root plants, we tend to do hedge planting and tree planting, and in the November conservation weekend, we tend to concentrate on woods work, sort of thinning stuff out and tidying up and building dead hedges and laying hedges and stuff, and it's a fantastic plan. We're beginning to work with FWAG, which is the Farming Wildlife Advisory Group, and various other conservation organisations to look at what we can do with our ancient hedgerows and how we can return them to their former glory. And there's some really good, really fun stuff that we can do, and there's some slightly scary stuff that we're going to have to think about doing, like seriously pollarding them, isn't it?
Yeah. So one of the scariest things is that we know that the guidance on the for the hedging plants that we've got, some of these old hawthorns that have been around since the 1820s, that the advice is actually that we coppice them. So potentially we actually cut them down to the ground, and they will regenerate, but we have to look at how we protect them. So we know that we've got deer on the land, we've got roe and muntjac, we've got hares and rabbits, so we have to really think about how we're going to do that. But that's one of the jobs that we'll be looking at, and we've got about 30 miles of hedgerow on the farm to think about, so plenty to be getting on with.
Yeah, we can try some different things in different places and see what works for us here and they're going to actually, depending on how far the hedges are from main roads and from near kind of where the deer are happiest in the woods, we have to probably change our techniques to protect. But it is wonderful, and it's just the satisfaction of everybody involved is just absolutely wonderful. It's great. Thanks a lot, Nathan, and we'll chat with some of the other volunteers, and we'll see where we're going. I am standing in a little coppice at the side of what we call Oak Glade. It's currently got a few Scotch pines and a couple of silver birches and a couple of other bits and pieces. And the team this weekend, one of the jobs this weekend, is to have a bit of a tidy up in here, get some more trees in, and really try and fill out this could be a really lovely bit of coppice. It's quite a lot of blackthorn, and it really needs a lot of loving care and attention. The reason why we take the blackthorn out is because tents and blackthorn don't go very well. Very large spikes and rather thin tents, and so we've decided to concentrate on getting other lovely trees and stuff. So there's mulch going down, trees going in, all sorts of other stuff. And I am here with Robert, one of our regular conservation volunteers, and he's going to tell us a little about why he comes and joins us each time.
Yeah, I've been coming since 2016, and I really enjoy being out in the outdoors and getting the trees planted and making a real difference to the habitat around here, providing a home for nature. And this is just brilliant opportunity to be out in the fresh air, to meet new people who are all mostly like-minded people who are all making a difference to the environment, and it's just a great opportunity. Sometimes the weather's kind to us and we really enjoy it. Sometimes it's foul, cold and wet, but we still manage to enjoy it. So I'll keep coming as long as I can.
Well, Robert came in on what was our sort of newly reinvigorated conservation weekends back in November 2016, and I think we can safely describe that as one of the coldest weekends we've ever had outdoors. There was Nathan and me and a few others, and it really was bitter. We put up with snow and hail and all sorts of other stuff. Today is a very different kettle of fish. It's beautiful blue skies, gorgeous sunshine, and very, very different feel, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's brilliant, and it's wonderful to see these hedgerows and trees that we planted those years ago coming into their own now, and providing a real windbreak and picturesque site for the campers, a home for the wildlife, and it's absolutely brilliant to see them all coming along nicely.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's funny that when the conservation volunteers come back for the next weekend, we run these in November and in February. It's really interesting. One of the first things they do when they arrive is wander up to check the hedges that they planted and check that the team have been looking after them very well. and come and talk to them, which is very, very important. So, well, thank you so much for joining us again, and we look forward to seeing what manages to get done over the next few days.
We'll make a difference for sure. And the other nice thing is to see how many visitors are coming with their camper vans and their tents. Even at this time of year, it's a busy place, and so we're clearly doing the right thing.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
I'm Chris, and I'm here with my wife Marion.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming to join us, Chris. What attracted you to coming to the conservation weekend?
Yeah, we came to stay here one weekend, just in the motorhome camping, and we saw an advert for it, and we thought it was a really good cause, and we wanted to give a little bit back. So we signed up for the one in the autumn, and come back in the spring.
Excellent. Yeah, because you were up in the woods with us in the autumn. Did you manage to get some dead hedging done and stuff like that?
No, we were removing the old pheasant pens mainly, and doing a bit of work on creating the wood store. So again, that was nice to see that at the end of the weekend. A big transformation.
Yeah, we made some dramatic differences actually, and it was really lovely. I was wandering through the woods the other day and watching the deer running through where there had been horrible old broken down wire and all of that sort of stuff. Seeing them just racing through there with no worries about bumping into stuff and things. It was really lovely. Yeah, that's great. And what are you working on this weekend?
So we're removing some unwanted plants, mainly planting new trees and shrubs in the borders and hedgerows.
Yeah, it's great. The difference is that you weren't here for the original hedge planting, but you can really get a feel of what difference it's made to the site, and it's lovely while you're digging away. All the wagtails are out, and various other creatures coming to investigate what's been unearthed. And it's so you know what we're doing. Basically, we plant in these trees, so we clear a little area, plant in the trees, and then we put cardboard around the bottom of the trees. Most of the ones that they're using now are old pizza boxes from the pizzas that come and join us on a Friday evening. It's a proper recycling system, and then we're putting out sort of bark chippings round the bottom, which helps suppress the weeds with the cardboard, gives the new whips a really good chance to take off before the weeds start engrossing again. And it's fantastic, and the difference is quite dramatic. After a very short period of time, you can suddenly see all of the extras, can't you?
Yeah, it's really quite hard work, but it's great, every now and then to stop, stand back, and look at the difference you've made, and it really makes it very rewarding.
Well, thank you for coming to join us, Chris, and thanks for speaking to me on the mic. One or two of the others have run away very quickly as soon as they saw it, but thanks very much, and thanks for coming back for a second time.
Always a pleasure.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Cheers. Talking to two of our lovely conservation volunteers who have been hacking away and digging the most wonderful selection of new hedge plants in one of our ancient hedge lines. And tell me who you are.
Hi, so my name's Dominic. I've known Jason for probably about 25 years, I was thinking the other day, and the last few years I've been invited or been keen to get up and help out with this, and it's really good fun.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I've been coming here I think 2 or 3 years now.
I think the first one you came for was sort of the November one, I think, probably in 2017, wasn't it? So it's been a little while. And Dom has had a long history at Deepdale. He's used to help us out on the jazz festivals and all sorts of stuff, and back in the very dim and distant past when we were both much younger and much healthier. Yes, our beards have grown somewhat since then. Somewhat. So what brings you back to do the conservation work? Because it's not exactly sitting around chatting all the time, is it?
Well, no, it's not sitting around chatting, but there's some nice sitting around chatting in the evenings, which I do really enjoy, with a few drinks and a game or two. But I suppose the main reason I come back, and it's just so different to what I do day to day. So, I'm stuck in a small room day to day during my work life, and I come up here and I get to do quite a lot of nice physical work out in the fresh air. I mean, the scenery is just stunning up here. It's beautiful. We've got the sun shining, a few clouds in the sky, but it's just absolutely beautiful being out in the fresh air. And then you meet some like-minded people. It's it's the same sort of cliches that people sometimes use, but you meet the like-minded people who've got an interest in doing something fun, something that makes a difference to the conservation of this area, this beautiful part of the North Norfolk coast, and get to learn a little bit about trees and soil and stuff that I just wouldn't encounter in normal day-to-day life.
In the evening on the Friday evening, Nathan always gives us a little sort of introduction to a particular subject. So last night was what soil is made up of, and the quality, and the different types of soil we find on Deepdale Farm. And I'm assuming it's not just the breakfast that you keep coming back for, Rebecca.
No, very similar to Dom actually. Getting outside because I spend my day in an office. In the fresh air, which is really good for you, getting involved in something that makes a difference. But I think the main reason we all keep coming back is for the people. Just a like-minded bunch of people. We have such a good laugh, playing lots of board games in the evening, having a few drinks, having big breakfasts. But yeah, we all seem to come back for just the people and having a good laugh, really, and the fresh air.
The fresh air. And you get your vegetarian sausages, don't you?
Good vegetarian sausages.
I'm not being a vegetarian myself. I'm apparently getting better at cooking the vegetarian sausages. Yes, it is a very social activity. There's often games of boggle and various other things, and Mickey taking about some of the poor porridge making and various other things. There was quite a competitive chocolate game last night with knife, fork, hat, scarf and gloves, and that got really quite competitive, so it's good fun. But thank you for coming back, guys, and it's lovely of you to talk to me.
That's really kind of you to have us back. I really enjoy it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for still putting them on.
Cheers, guys. So we're up on North Glebe, and we're standing in the lee of a less than perfect hedge, which is being repaired by our lovely conservation volunteers. And I am with
Nicola.
And Nicola is one of our regular conservation volunteers, mainly because you like getting
muddy.
And she also very much likes a large
bonfire.
Yeah, you see, it's very easy to guess what the words. And she is never happier than being surrounded by mud, and particularly when there's a fire involved.
Yes.
This is her second favourite of the 2 weekends that we run, because it has less fire, basically, but it does have mud, so she's very happy.
There's lots of food as well.
That's very true. Yeah, there is lots of food. That's very true. So, what brings you back to Deepdale other than the mud and the fire?
It's just my favourite weekend of the year. Well, favourite 2 weekends of the year. Just to spend all the time outside with some awesome people and feeling like we're making a difference.
It's lovely, and you were part of the awesome crew that planted all the hedgerows on the campsite, weren't you?
Yes, the Hedge Collective.
Yeah, the Hedge Collective, which has become a sort of a formal, an informal formal group on social media, where we talk about all things to do with trees and hedging and wildlife and stuff like that. It's really good fun, do you still go up and check your hedgerows when you come?
Yes, in fact, we're hoping to come up in the summer, maybe. I might bring my children to show them our hedges.
Excellent. That's very exciting. Yeah, that's very cool. Well, thank you for coming to join us again, and it's lovely having you here, and you're doing amazing work on these hedges.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, my dear. What else would you like to mention, Georgie?
The 3 for 2, because already we're obviously very competitive with the pricing. We've got quite good rooms available, and really, really, we've had so many people comment to me on how lovely it is this time of year. You virtually get the place to yourself, and then we're incentivising it further by offering the 3 for 2. But we have done some refurbishments. So we had 2 rooms which were absolutely fine, but we have gone, okay, let's do a little bit more, and we've made them bigger, lighter. We've basically completely redone them. So now, instead of having 2 smaller rooms and 2 larger triple or double family rooms, we've now got 4 really lovely, bright, spacious, clean areas, which are still the same price as they were before. In fact, cheaper with the 3 for 2. Why would you not?
It's the rooms are just lovely. We spend a lot of time thinking about them and umming and ahhing about whether we should do it, but basically what they've ended up doing is, if anybody stayed in our cart shed rooms, you used to go in a door and there was a little corridor and the rooms were off that. We've got rid of the corridor, we've extended the rooms out to the front, so you now each get your sort of your own front door, you get your own window, you get a much bigger room than they were, much nicer feel. They're all underfloor heated, and they're all en suite, and what more could you want really from a private room? It's just lovely.
For March, there is the Great British Spring Clean, which is not just March, but it's also April. It's from the 20th of March to the 13th of April. You can get involved with that by hosting a clean, or you can create a volunteer group. So I was thinking that might be quite a nice thing to do if you're doing like a Duke of Edinburgh award or something. It might be something that you could tick off for your Duke of Edinburgh. But again, it's a nice way of making a difference in the environment that you live. It doesn't have to be Norfolk, but if you can come to a really gorgeous place and make it less littered, then come along, do that.
Excellent. And in March, of course, we've got our Hygge and the Deepdale Spring Market. So we host around 60 local artisans and producers, all Norfolk artisans and producers. So it's a fantastic event to wander around. It's a lot calmer than the Christmas market. It's a really good opportunity to chat with all of those makers and learn about why they do what they do, and learn about the way that they do it. So it's a really lovely event, that one. And the Hygge, of course, is about the great outdoors, about enjoying walking and cycling and running and just generally being in the North Norfolk coast, sort of wonderful countryside under our giant skies. It is a really, really fantastic event. It is the essence of Deepdale as far as I'm concerned, and you probably heard me say that before, but that's a really lovely weekend. And then looking forward, we have a whole new event that's going to happen in May, the Deepdale Beltane, which sort of fits in. You might be wondering what on earth Beltane is, and basically it's a celebration of the start of summer, and it should be a fantastic weekend. It's a very simplified version of the Hygge and the festival, in that it's a little bit of live music on Friday evening, sort of busking music with pizzas, and then on Saturday it's a sort of afternoon and evening of great local musicians. But actually, Chris started by saying it was going to be great local musicians, and now we have the lifeboats coming from all the way down from down south. Below the line where they have to bring their passports, and they're heading up to headline on that night. So the idea is it's sort of a celebration of artists who've played at our festivals and our other events, and it's just a mini festival. The bank holiday's moved, in case anybody hasn't picked up on that, so it's no longer the first Monday of May. It is now the Friday after, just to really confuse people. So the bank holiday now is basically come and stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, but of the second weekend, not the first weekend. Yeah, confused. So is most people, so don't worry. But basically, the Beltane is going to be the first and the second, the Friday and the Saturday of May, which is no longer the bank holiday weekend. And then the bank holiday weekend is the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you want to come and stay, it's not too late. Although we are filling up very fast for the bank holiday weekend, and the Beltane's a whole different excuse to come and enjoy this beautiful part of the world, get some walking in, or just a visit to the pub, and come and enjoy us. So that's going to be a really lovely event. And it's not too late. We still do have a few pitches left for the Deepdale Festival in September. So we have a little bit of a technical issue, and Georgie and I thought we'd recorded everything on the podcast, and it didn't quite take in the way that we hoped. And Georgie's not in today, so I have grabbed her replacement, which is Simon, who you've heard on the podcast before. Yep. And I thought that we would continue the podcast as we've been talking about it. So Georgie and I had recorded a good amount about sort of events coming up and that kind of thing. And we'd begun to talk about Deepdale events that were coming up. But Simon, who has been here for almost exactly the same length of time as Georgie, I think there was 1 day difference. I can't remember which of you started first.
I think Georgie was here first.
Just by 1 day. It's like the older twin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so we thought we'd just chat about, sort of our experiences from the Hygges and the festivals, and kind of what we both sort of looking forward to from the Beltane. Sort of looking forward, because you stayed over, didn't you, Simon? For the
I try and stay over for all the fun. Make the most of it.
Break that hammock out of its bag, and
or in a tent. I remember staying in a tent one year.
Yeah, that's very true. Yes, you have. Yeah. And then so you've been here for what, 2 festivals now and 1 Hygge? Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, only 1 Hygge.
Yeah. And so if you had to choose a favourite, and I know we don't have any favourites here, but if you had to choose a favourite, which would it be, the Hygge or the festival?
It would probably be the Hygge.
Would it?
I think so. Something about the spring.
Yeah.
And the anticipation of it, and it's just the Hygge is a bit more mysterious than the music festival.
Yeah.
So I think if I had a favourite, it would probably be the Hygge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it's I think for me, and people have heard me say this before, but the Hygge is the essence of Deepdale. You know, it's that mix of, you know, music,
it's the lifestyle and the
and the kind of the exploring. And you were on some of the walk. You ran some of the walks in the in October for the walking festival, but you also came on some of the walks over the Hygge, didn't you?
I did.
And I love watching people learning about the area that they're walking in and getting a whole different experience from the walk. Because when you walk, you notice certain things, but
when you have somebody, because I followed you. And listening to everything you had to say, it came in so handy when I was then taking the walks out.
Yeah.
So that knowledge passed down of the hill and the chalk up there, and so I don't want to spoil anything for people. You'll have to come and listen. But it's great. The Hygge is. It's hard to pin down what the Hygge is. But it is different.
Yeah. Yeah, and
even though on paper it's okay, it's campsite, music, it's a festival, should be the same, but it's a different beast.
It's somehow different. I think maybe because it's earlier in the year. I think, as you say, it's that spring thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also it's sort of, I don't know. There's a sort of sense of, you know, meeting new people and catching up with old friends, and you know, the barn dance on the Friday evening's hilarious because most people are sort of standing side going, oh, let somebody else do the dancing. By the end, there's not enough room on the dance floor because everybody wants to have a go.
I was told it was the most inviting ceilidh that anyone had ever been to.
That's fantastic. That's a really good way of putting it.
Normally, I think, so I hear, no great experience of these things, but ceilidhs are, you will do the dance correctly or you will not dance.
Yeah.
Whereas ours is, come and have a go.
Yeah.
The band know exactly what they're doing, and they were encouraging. Everything was really pleasant, good belly laughs. Good fun. Yeah, we
and you will see Simon dancing. You know,
skipping about.
I think because I remember going to my cousins and my uncle and aunts. They had a big party to sort of celebrate various birthdays and anniversary, and they had a very, very smart ceilidh, and they're all amazingly good country dance, you know, Scottish country dancers. So there were 3 levels of dance with, you know, and they were marked.
Intermediates.
Yeah, exactly. There were ones where anybody is allowed to take part, ones where you had to pair up with someone who knew what they were doing, and ones where if you didn't know what you were doing, you weren't allowed on the dance floor. And so, you know, we spent significantly less time on the dance floor than because not knowing, having a clue. Whereas at Deepdale, there's none of that. It's all about, you know, just come, get your hands dirty, and enjoy the dancing. So it works really well.
Yeah.
So and I love the sitting around the fire pits in the evening and just chilling in that courtyard. I think it's just that really
works so well in the September.
Yeah.
The music festival, the big music festival, because it's drawing an end to the summer, and again it's that sort of harvest time, and sitting around in the evenings with the fire pits, you know,
because when I built Deepdale, you know, when I walked into that courtyard for the first time and thought, I'm going to build a backpackers hostel here, and I remember Dad was taking me for a tour around the farm when I got back from working overseas, and we walked into that courtyard and he said, oh right, I'm going to build a big barn here, I'm going to extend the barn out, and I went, no you're not, we're going to build a backpackers hostel here. And I had no idea where that had come from, never mind him.
Right.
And I just walked in and I just saw what we have at the Hygge and the festival, which is all those people sitting in that courtyard wanting, you know, chatting to people they'd never met before, and chatting, and that whole experience. And when you add in, you know, the number of people who were there for the live music at the festival on the Friday night, when we had the cobbler bob playing in the courtyard, and all those people were sort of dancing in there, and it's just a fabulous atmosphere.
It is a great atmosphere. I had people speak to me and they said, we don't normally chat to people we don't know. We're very conservative. We don't normally chat to people. No, completely different. There's, as I say, this place must be on a ley line, or there's something about it. Yeah, you sit down, somebody will come and prop themselves next to you, and before you know it,
deep into conversation.
Deep into conversation, whether it's about the music or the food or the it's a really nice place, isn't it?
And and so this year we have got the Hygge end of March, and we've got the festival at the end of September, and of course we've got the Christmas market at the end of November. But we've got a whole new event, and Simon and I are both kind of quite in the dark about this. This is something fairly new to us, isn't it? Really, the Deepdale Beltane.
Well,
and you were saying, like,
Chris,
I'm
sorry, everyone, I've never heard of a Beltane.
To be fair, until about a week before we told you that we were doing the event, I hadn't either. And we were talking around the names of what the event should be, and we were thinking about kind of how it should happen, and we thought about a few names, but the Deepdale Beltane sort of came because it's a festival. It's a sort of traditional festival celebrating the beginning of summer and the kind of spring into summer.
Yeah,
and it just sort of seemed to fit, and it felt with that. It felt in the same vein like the Deepdale Hygge. In that
it's normally held at the 1st of May and around May Day.
That's right.
And of course, this year's bananas,
slightly bananas arrangement with the nobody understands what's happening with the bank holiday, but it just sort of felt the sort of right name, really, the Deepdale Beltane. It sort of has that slight mystery to it. People aren't quite sure what it is, and that I quite like that. I like that sort of sense.
Well, people are, as they're booking, they're pronouncing it correctly.
Oh, well, it's a lot easier to say than
better
Hygge.
Than Hygge and
Hygge. Yeah, I don't know how many different pronouncements.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. Although, you see, we had lots of conversations about how we pronounce that, the Hygge, and I think we've pretty much settled on Hygge now. But a Danish guy was explaining it to me that it kind of derives sort of from the word sort of hug, because it's that sort of warm kind of feel of sort of feeling sort of safe and happy and secure. So I guess you can probably get away with anything you want to. So. People, as long as people know what you are, but it's one of those weird words where it's one word in Danish and a whole book in English. It's so it's. But thinking ahead to the Beltane. Beltane is about. We thought it would be like a celebration of bands that we want to introduce people to, and bands we want to celebrate because we've had them before and they've been great. And it's an opportunity to come to another Deepdale music event without it being as large as the festival or the Hygge, which is about just coming and enjoying some live music for a short period of time on the North Norfolk coast. So sort of a little bit on Friday evening and then sort of Saturday afternoon, evening.
Yeah, it's just a little thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a little thing.
If you had to, if you had to sort of describe what it is like working at Deepdale and meeting all the different customers, is there a way that you could describe that without in 1,000 words, just in a couple of words?
No.
No.
No, it was quite daunting the first time.
Yeah.
And instantly you feel it, and it's about just tuning in with work. It's just about tuning in, mucking in, getting stuff done, because there's only a small group of us and we do get help from outside, but and then of course the sense of achievement afterwards, or when you're walking around, you could be knee deep in the most awful thing that you're doing and you turn a corner and you see the courtyard or some people moving down from the campsite, smiling, chatting, so it's fulfilling. There you are. Very fulfilling.
That's
working
That's
at the festivals and the music and
And of course, you've almost completed the hammock area, which you've been very excited about.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, we're almost there, aren't we? We're
pretty much ready. The grass is growing as we speak.
Excellent.
The posts are in. Yeah, it's ready to go.
And we will launch that, and I'll get Simon to come in and talk about a bit more about. But the idea is that we're basically going to have hammock camping and a special area where you can come and do hammock camping at Deepdale. And it's it's one of Simon's passions in life. I think we could say hammock camping.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, and
it's the only way to camp. But you need trees.
You do need trees,
and now we've proven you don't need trees.
You just need some old telegraph poles.
Old telegraph posts.
Yeah,
and a bit of love, and there they are.
And some blood, sweat, and tears to dig some holes.
That was easy.
Okay, that's good. When you've got a passionate, sort of plan in your mind, then it's easier to find the mental block when you find those very large pieces of flint that you've got to dig out of the holes.
Dig around them.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Then, yeah.
But no, it's looking great, and I think we've got some sculpting to do around them, haven't we? And some some landscaping. But otherwise, they're
it worked. I have tested it.
You have tested, yeah.
I have tested it. It did work. It was comfortable, and had a good night's sleep just before New Year's. Actually,
that's right. Yeah, of course.
Between Christmas and New Year's, stayed a night, and that works really well. Of course, you haven't got to worry about the trees above you.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're not going to lose limbs falling down.
You haven't got to worry about so many things. Just coming to a campsite.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, but that's good though.
But
we like different.
It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that when we actually sort of launch it formally. But it is exciting to know that hammock camping is coming to Deepdale, and it's coming very soon. It's going to be great.
Yes,
it's going to be really good.
Yeah, we're going to be definitely one of the leading campsites, I think, when it comes to hammock camping.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
So, looking forward into the year, sort of what are you most looking forward to?
It's got to be the summer. Just generally the summer. The music, of course. Yeah, the Hygge is around the corner. As I've just said, I'm looking forward to that. But the summer, the sun, inviting people onto the campsite, meeting new people, having the old people back. I'm starting to recognise a lot of regular.
Because you've done 2 summer seasons now, so you're definitely beginning to recognise people, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's the same. They recognise us. They recognise the team.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good this year. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that summer. It's been a long winter.
Yeah. Still could be quite a lot of it to come by the sounds of it, looking at the weather forecast.
Let's see.
But we'll have to just wait and see, won't we? So,
if we're all still here and not blown halfway across Europe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. How did you re-enter Europe? Well, we sort of just got blown into it.
We jumped.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking to me, and thank you for joining me on the podcast, and we'll hopefully have you back again soon.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure we'll talk in March when we do the next edition. But thank you for jumping in at the last minute to help out on this extra bit of the podcast.
Hey, that's what we do.
No worries, man. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our February 2020 podcast. Lovely to have you with us. We look forward to welcoming you back next month for more chat about Deepdale and the beautiful North Norfolk coast. Remember that you can find lots of information about all the events we've chatted about on our website at deepdalebackpackers.co.uk. We'll leave you with the wonderful Katie Spencer, who is performing this month's Sunday session here at Deepdale, and this track is Weather Beaten, which seems rather appropriate as Storm Dennis blows in while we edit this podcast. Keep well. See you next month.
Even if I wanted to, I really would have looked the other way. Your weather beaten and war-torn on the inside. You're so fresh and fruity and wide-eyed on the outside. A fool of me, looking right across the room at me, after somebody said something they shouldn't have, right after I told you that the bad